Guess who's back? Al Prophet and his Gucci replica moving around the town. Okay, so today's topic is the subject of the most expensive Vlad TV interview ever, Tekashi. Once again, now this is a guy that has managed to keep himself, as some of these YouTubers like to say, in the algorithm. But he's kept himself more in the algorithm. He's kept himself in the mansion and with a lot of money. If you didn't know, while he was awaiting sentencing, he did a two album, $10 million deal. He really did. One for an English language album, one for Spanish. That must have worked out fairly well because just last year in 2024, he got a new deal with Cartel Music, Kartel, which I would imagine probably is associated with actual cartel, for like $6 million. Oh no, which is for regional Mexican music, whatever the fuck that means. So Tekashi has this whole South American and Mexican and Spanish language career. In addition to, I mean, he made some big hit songs. Now you can see, though, I haven't heard any new song of his as particularly catchy. I guess there was somebody who was writing his songs when he was Gummo and all those songs, that run the songs he did. I mean, they were catchy rap songs for what they were, which it doesn't seem like he has the ability to make on his own. But the Tekashi thing is pretty endlessly fascinating. Now, the whole who's a snitch and everyone's out, everybody is a snitch thing is, maybe reaching its peak interest level. People are going to get sick of hearing about that too. And everyone's trying to latch on. As a brief aside, we got that federal agent trying to imply Jeezy snitch to get out of his case. But you guys got to pay more attention to what really gets said. Like, FBI agents like attention, retired ones like everybody else. He said they had evidence that Jeezy ordered a hit. If they had evidence Jeezy ordered someone to go shoot somebody, he would have been arrested. They had circumstantial evidence of Jeezy maybe involved in some crime, and they had a few people in the BMF thing that said they saw Jeezy be handed small amounts for that case. Someone, I think Ralph Sims said he saw Jeezy be given 5 kilos. The feds just chose not to. I don't. Jeezy may well have given some information. I'm not here to per se defend Jeezy, but you can't drawing conclusions from saying, oh, well, one person told the police that this person did this and they didn't go to jail, so they must have snitched. A lot of people don't get charged and stuff. They fall through the cracks, or just, especially in a federal drug case, they just might well, he's a small fish. And, did Jeezy probably help him a little? Jeezy turned in Meech's cars. Well, what else was he supposed? We're going to keep the cars? Like, they would just be reported stolen. They were seized by the federal government. But Jeezy may well have given information. I don't know. But just because this, it's so funny. So many people, on the one hand, you don't like the white police, but then when the white cop says someone snitched or implies it, you believe it. So that whole thing about Jeezy and telling, he may have, again, I'm not saying he didn't, but because someone said he saw him get 5 kilos, because he turned in some cars, which he was going to have to do, and they didn't indict him for the Pookie Loke. That's not that ain't no open. The reason the feds have a high conviction rate is they don't indict you unless they got a hardcore case.
Mr. Hernandez, are you currently in federal custody?
Yes, sir.
At some point, did you decide to cooperate with the government?
Yes.
In connection with your cooperation, have you pleaded guilty to certain crimes?
Yes.
So is Tekashi, what do you think? Is his explanation, as the time has passed, has his explanation of they kidnapped me, Shotty really did fuck his girl, his baby mama, which, what a lowlife bitch to do that. They beat him up, robbed him. There was the other time with the one, the Snow Billy, they damn near was gonna kill him because remember these different branches of Nine Trey, Mel Murders, Nuke, and Shotty, I guess, was with Nuke, or maybe Shotty was his own thing. They were all pulling on Tekashi separately for money. I don't really think Tekashi was ever, did he say he became an actual member? Like, he didn't really become a gang member till he already popped off. So does that really count? I don't think so. But do you guys think that with all that, them guys were not his friends, and with all the stuff they did to him, I mean, he really, what was he's supposed to be loyal to what? Now, I will say what's fucked up and what shows you, I mean, how the criminal justice system is just, I mean, I think the prosecutors do generally they try to do the best job they can, but it's just such a chaotic, erratic kind of situation. Like, of all the crimes in the Treyway indictment, I mean, them robbing Tekashi is probably, oh, they popped off shots at some people, but that's one of the worst things. And that Algernon Mack got he got 17 years. That's one of the worst events. But one of the other absolute worst events, or perhaps in a way the worst event, even though it didn't follow through all the way, was Tekashi himself putting a $30,000 on Chief Keef's head, and the Kuda B guy shot at some glow gang, some outside of the W. Kuda claims he got no money. Tekashi said he gave him 8 bands because, like, what am I going to give him the rest for? He shot in the air, he didn't hit nobody. But Tekashi, and it was caught on camera, Tekashi did not know. He wasn't saying it on live stream like a joke. He was privately saying it. He said he was at the Robin Jean factory and he was talking to somebody and he said it to somebody. I got a 30-pack on Keef and someone was recording on the phone. So what about that? So what Nine Trey or whoever recorded that on the phone, how did that get into evidence? There was a lot of, the Nine Treys were full of informants, chief amongst them, CEO Chris, a.k.a. Young Brooklyn, and the other worst stuff in the Treyway, the Nine Trey Bloods, those, there's a lot of Nine Trey Bloods. Those ones there in Brooklyn that were associated with Tekashi were under investigation from like 2012 for heroin and fentanyl. They was early in the fentanyl. The CEO Chris was getting fentanyl from China, and he was dating or messing with an NYPD female sergeant who would drive around and drop off work. So at the time of the Gummo video, the Nine Treys had an FBI informant, but they also had a crooked cop working with them. So it was all, being in a gang just doubles the time you're going to get and makes you a target. It does not help your criminal endeavors. Like, from death row to this Treyway, this street, trying to turn a street gang into organized crime is just not the same. It's just not the same thing. You got people that are more so interested in violence and just being wild and crazy, and other people interested in getting money. It doesn't go together. It's exciting though. The public likes it. It's entertaining spectacle to watch. That spectacle of Tekashi running around the country taunting everybody and going to LA and they trying to get at him. My friend, rest in peace, J Joker, Mr. Jason, my good friend, he was one of the few that ran up on Tekashi, one of the few Bloods. He caught him and was like in his face, and all the Hoovers were there, and so nothing happened. But Tekashi knew how to make a spectacle, and he played all of them. I mean, like it or not. And look at Young Thug and Little Woody. Young Thug is lesser. So Woody snitched or half snitched or snitched and then unsnitched. I didn't follow it enough I don't even understand. Like, he made that big statement and he sort of fucked up the case when he seemed like he undermined the case for the prosecution when he testified, but I didn't watch all of his testimony. But Thug's stock has gone down. He's made himself look stupider and stupider. And Woody is doing 20v1 pop the balloon. He's like a celebrity. Then when the LA bloggers brought him to the Rolling 60s hood, and it was like that's the thing in America now. If you can become kind of a celebrity, it really doesn't. It doesn't seem like anything else at all matters. I mean, I guess you can't be a CHILD but I mean, Baby said he had Wayne get with a groupie when he was 11. Tekashi was videotaping a 13-year-old. And the whole hood is full of people smashing 13 and 14-year-old girls. In Detroit, they like them starting at 11. But that's another scandal we won't get into. But, yeah, if you can get famous so that people that can attach themselves or be around you can get some clout or a couple bucks, nothing really matters. And this is all through society. This is not just about our urban culture or whatever you want to call it, or the hood. It's all through society. All that matters is money, and fame is equivalent to money because you can turn fame into money, but you can't turn money into fame. You can't buy fame, but if you got some fame, you can get money out of it, which is interesting. I mean, clout is actually more valuable than money because you can't buy clout with money. I mean, you can a little, but not. You got to really know what you're doing. It's an art, not a science. You can blow a lot of money trying to buy fame, but so Vlad paid the most money ever of any interview for Tekashi. Tekashi is a compelling story. Tekashi kind of dominated Vlad. Tekashi's very good at he has this whole different personality. He's very commanding presence around, other dummies. And, Tekashi's no genius. There's a lot of dummies in the entertainment and clothing industries. Like, being smart and making money are not very correlated. Because if they were, I'd be fucking rich. Because if you're too smart, it's hard to be that interested in the dumb shit you have to do to make a lot of money to entertain the average dummy. If you follow that. But so if you notice on that video, Tekashi and Vlad, they're at Tekashi's, they're in his backyard in front of his pool. And if you think that was a power play, oh, you got to come visit me, Tekashi's on home confinement because he keeps getting in trouble. So they made him do some time in 2024, maybe a month or two for some type of probation violation. But then he got caught more recently cocaine and MDMA in his house. I would imagine it's the same house where the interview was. And then on September 25th, him and his buddy jumped on a guy at the mall in Miami for calling him a snitch. They punched him and etc. That's assault. Someone can't, you could be in public, someone call you the N-word. You legally, you can't hit them. If they're not being physically threatening. So someone merely reminding Tekashi that he, in fact, did testify against his so-called former friends, you can't just jump on them for that. So Tekashi's being sentenced November 4th. This little money from Vlad might have been his last little bit. They may well lock him up. A judge, I could see a judge looking at Tekashi and his behavior since he's been out. Man, you did very little time. You ordered a hit. Like I said, that paying $30,000 to have somebody shot. Now, it so happened that the person that went to do it didn't do a good job or just was shooting at the clouds and trying to get a free check. But Tekashi did put a hit out. That's first-degree murder. That's pretty dangerous. So we know Tekashi will do crazy shit, dangerous things to the public safety. He still has money. He's still a big star, at least in South America. I mean, some parts of the world. I mean, I don't know if he can perform too much in the U.S. Has he performed in the U.S.? Someone put it in the comments. I'm sure he has, but it's probably limited. I mean, I don't hear anyone listening to his music, but I'm not around the kind of people that would be listening to his music anyway, so that doesn't mean nobody is. Do people listen to, has anyone listened? Okay, so put in the comments if any of you listened to his those albums he made since. Are they like Mexican? I mean, what is the vibe of those things? Is he rapping in Spanish, or is it like reggaeton, or is it any good? Is it okay? I'm genuinely curious. What is up with this new music? Is it popular? Like, is Tekashi, like, does he have a demographic? Is he popular in the Latin or the Mexican or whatever, Dominican? I don't know. Is he popular somewhere? I'm curious. And is the music any good? I don't think he's a music maker or rapper. I think that era, that was an exactly perfect moment in time. He had somebody help him write the songs. He had the crazy look. He had the bloods. It just all kind of like Young Thug. Well, a lot like Young Thug, where you combine a bunch of unexpected elements and you have a real street element to it. So for those of us that buy into the streets mean something, that makes it like, oh, well, it's valid because the Bloods are down with it. So, but then you put, in the case of Thug, you got all this weird gay or seemingly gay stuff. And then in the case of Tekashi, he has this crazy look and he's Mexican. And by the way, the amount of times Tekashi calls Vlad the N-word during the interview is an interesting observation on the state of culture that we are in, or lack of culture. But it's yet another tangent. What do you think about Tekashi69 at this point? I mean, he's interesting. The whole phenomenon is interesting, but I don't know, him and Young Thug more and more, like when they're not now in their prime run and all the elements aren't around them, they just seem kind of clownish and like they were lottery winners. Like Thug without the drugs and the gang stuff. The music has moved on. It's just not, what's he left to talk about? If he can't talk about the street stuff and getting high, he ain't got not a lot left to talk about. And watching these guys do interviews, they seem dumber and dumber. I mean, Tekashi is smart like a manipulative woman is smart. Like, he knows how to kind of play people and get what he wants. That's not exactly the same thing as being smart, but so watch the Vlad interview with Tekashi if you're interested. My personal connection with Tekashi, for those that don't remember my Tekashi stories, I did get some thousands out of him for the very last music video he made, which has been taken down before he got big. He used 30 seconds of me talking, the opening monologue of my classic 2011 documentary, The Streets of New York. And so I had a lawyer that knew some people at the distributor, so they just gave me some money. It wasn't a ton, but it was some money. He technically, statutorily owes me $30,000, but I'd have to serve him with the thing. I mean, well, maybe I should try. Well, no, he has money. Like he owed, like you get up if someone violates your copyright, like no matter, like the publishing what it earned, there's a $30,000 floor, and he used 30 seconds of me talking. I think the song was called 6ix9ine. Yeah, the song is called 6ix9ine. That's me for 30 seconds at the beginning. It was when he was driving through the streets in a Lamborghini. I don't think the video is there anymore, or I can't find it anymore. So that's why I was interested in Tekashi, and then I was somewhat cool with Slim 400 when he was hawking him down, and then my own friend, who was a blood, rest in peace, J. Joker Jason, my friend from Detroit and San Bernardino, he ran up on him. I got the footage of that in one of my old videos that I don't feel like digging up, but it's on my channel. Just look up my Tekashi videos. So is Tekashi redeemed? Is he a clown? What's the point of being in a gang? Was he in the gang? Is his new music total bullshit? I mean, does he has like a career, like he makes money, right? Is he big in the Latino, or is that just people trying to launder money? Because you know them narcos, they all got artists down there, and they might just be money laundering to them. I don't know. But Tekashi Vlad interview, pretty interesting. And that's my thoughts. And and like the CEO again though, the CEO Chris thing, Treyway, 9 Trey Bloods, the Treyway people, they was going down for the heroin and fentanyl and the corrupt cop stuff. And CEO Chris testified as bad as Tekashi. So they were all, that was a situation. They shot Snow Billy in the head over Tekashi. The street gangs trying to turn into organized crime doesn't seem to work too well very often. At best, you're going to end up looking Durkin now. So stay out of gangs, kids. They'll profit American dope.